Welcome to the Sunday morning worship service of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church in Naperville, Illinois. I am Ann Ariano, a member of your Board of Trustees. We are glad you are here, whether you are present in the sanctuary today or watching remotely. It is so good to be together. We welcome you to our church and invite you to get to know us better during and after the service. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another in our spiritual and religious journeys while holding ourselves in covenant. The rich, liberal legacy of Unitarian Universalism is rooted in our faith's 7 principles. These principles guide our faithful actions as we work to transform the world to be more just and equitable. You may find these principles listed on our website or on the wall in our social hall. Whoever you are, wherever you are on life's journey, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome here. I have an extra announcement. All are invited to join Reverend Mandy next week, Wednesday, February 14th, actually this week, right? Yeah, this week, at February 14 at 6:30 p.m. for an Ash Wednesday service. The service will launch a 7-week learning exploration on anti-racism and anti-oppression issues. Join others in the commitment to journey toward liberation this Lenten season. Now, if you are online, I invite you to greet each other through chat, and if you are present here, I invite you to turn to someone you did not come with and greet them with a wave and a good morning.
We light our chalice today for the light that is DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. Our mission is to gather as an inclusive community, to grow in character, mind, and spirit, and to transform the world towards fairness, love, and compassion.
Good morning. Good morning. We gather each week in the spirit of possibility, in the love of community, and in the hope of transformation for ourselves and the world. Today is a special day, a day that has been at least 10 years in the making. In September of 2022, we gathered here for my ordination as a minister and installation as your minister. On that day, I gave each of our children who attended an Eggcorn. It was a representation of our lifelong growth as individuals and as Unitarian Universalists. As their minister, it is my job to nurture our children's growth. But it is also my job to nurture the growth of our adults as well. I do not do this alone, and in fact, as I nurture you all nurture each other and me. While we all are, or begin as a seed, an Eggcorn, so too has our beloved church community. It began so small and has grown so large. Look at our full sanctuary. Yay, yes. Today, we will travel the journey of planting our DUUC seed to the strong and vibrant tree we have become. Throughout this journey, we have stood at multiple thresholds in our growth. Each time this congregation has risen to the challenge before it. Each time this congregation has grown even more. Today, we do so once again. Let us journey towards embracing our future together. Come, let us worship together. Please join me in body or spirit by rising to sing "We Are the River." So small. We were really hardly there at all. So tiny, so small, just a seed. Now a seed needs care and tending. It needs darkness to germinate, sunlight and water. It needs someone to pull up the weeds that might keep it from growing strong and to be protected from animals that might dig it up. This seed needed the love and nourishment of a people committed to a new way of being in the world. Lindy Spreetsma was here for those early years as only a small seed herself. Her mother, though not a founder, joined only a few years into our beginning. Lindy was nurtured here. She was 4 years old when she came here. Lindy, thank you for planting the seed of our DUUC tree. Nope, you can go ahead and sit.
What grew to become DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church began in 1955 when members of a congregational church in Lisle became so divisive over a political issue that a small group withdrew their membership. The controversial issue centered on a federal Senate Committee on Un-American Activities chaired by Senator Joseph McCarthy of Wisconsin. He sought to identify and vilify alleged communists serving in the government. Then a college student, I well recall the committee's vicious action from watching TV broadcasts. Eugene Creeves led the group in seeking a place to worship. They briefly rented various spaces, none of which proved adequate. When an unused one-room country school, then on Naperville Road, came up to be sold at auction to the highest bidder, the group decided to try to buy it. The opening bid was $5,000, but the group doubted it was worth that much. On a cold, rainy Saturday morning, their committee showed up to bid. And the committee's bid for just $1,000 was successful. The school, which now houses the Founders Room and was our first home as the DuPage Valley Unitarian Fellowship. When we think of a handful of people who left an established church and committed to buying a building in which to locate this church, it was a giant leap forward. Around this time, a young mom named Robin Spreetsma met her neighbor, Winnie Campbell. Founding member Winnie invited the family to church, and 4-year-old Lindy, as you know, attended with her siblings and her mother. These loving, caring people, whose signatures adorned a plaque on a wall in the Founders Room, embraced their future. Just look at what all we have accomplished. As time passed, due largely to strong preaching, a commitment to social justice, and loving fellowship, DuPage Unitarian Church grew and needed still more space. Members were asked in the early 1960s to again embrace their future and to build a new space that would include RV classrooms, office space, washrooms, and a sanctuary in the room that has become the Learning Center. In my own time, in the 1980s, the members stepped up again. DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church had grown to nearly 300 members and needed still more RE classroom space, a kitchen, office space, and a social hall larger than the Founders Room. Briefly, the congregation embarked on another capital campaign to build what is now Creeves Hall and its adjacent rooms. A funny thing happened along the way toward the completion. The contractor the church hired to build the new space went bankrupt. Never mind this challenge, church members, notably then former President Lois Nitzline, stepped in to organize completion of the work. She worked daily and tirelessly to line up materials and tradespeople, despite frustrations and conflict. One ceiling beam that turned out to be somewhat too long remains visible high above the stairwell between the Founders Room and the new Creeves Hall. In one way or another, it all got done. We have enjoyed the space ever since. What ties all of this together is the strength, wisdom, and courage of this congregation. At each of these junctures, members have come together to embrace the future of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church.
Family choir.
Seeds do not remain small. In just the right conditions, they grow. Some of that growth is above ground as they reach for the sun and stars. Most of that growth is below ground, reaching deep into the soil, establishing roots to bring water and nutrients to a growing sapling. A sapling needs space to grow. It needs to be pruned on occasion. It reaches to the future sunlight, but it must not be blocked by other plants competing for resources. Saplings are teenagers, altogether a risky venture and stage. A transition time that is not easy to move through, when decisions can be hard and breathtaking. But teenagers, saplings also bring newness of thought and purpose. They bring possibilities like ash trees on this land repurposed for the floor of our chancel. Robert Scrocky was the president of the board during one of the thresholds we encountered in our sapling phase. Leadership and vision is always hard during a period of transition. Yet this leadership allowed this congregation to strengthen its roots and create a firm foundation. Robert, will you please plant the sapling of our future? Thank you, Robert.
As the congregation continued to grow, our worship space, what is the large room in the Learning Center back then, simply could not accommodate the attendance at Sunday worship services or large meetings. We needed a new sanctuary. Looking at all the options, the congregation approved a plan to design and build a new sanctuary, this beautiful space we are in. And the congregation needed to launch another capital campaign to fund this expansion. We needed to raise $2.3 million for the innovatively designed building. Ann Ariano and I headed up the campaign, and our members stepped up and met this $2.3 million goal. We were well on our way to building our beautiful worship space. But once again, a funny thing happened on the way to building the sanctuary. As we were in unincorporated DuPage County at the time, the county zoning staff informed us that we could not grandfather the older wing into the project. We needed to meet all new zoning requirements throughout the building, new and old wings. One particular requirement was that we had to retrofit the entire old wing for fire mitigation, including electrical, material, but most importantly, installing an entire sprinkler system. The problem was we were on well water. In other words, we would have to build and bury a holding chamber for water about the size of your average subdivision swimming pool. The cost was prohibitive. The project, the dream of this space, now seemed like an impossibility. How would we deal with this setback? We approached the city of Naperville to explore annexation, which would bring us city water and make the whole project possible. The city balked, not wanting to commit to this annexation since the neighborhood itself was not interested in this, and we were not contiguous with the city itself, except for one little detail. An obscure law that states that public utilities are not considered land, and so the gas company across the street didn't exist, at least insofar as contiguity was considered. With a little luck, some creative persuasion, and the good fortune that at that time, the mayor at that time, Mayor Pradle, had fondness for this site and church as he had gone to this very one-room schoolhouse when he was a child in the 1940s. We went before City Council. After discussion of the question of whether or not to grant the church annexation to the city, a councilman said, "We shouldn't be getting between people and God." The motion passed. We had to conform to significant city zoning requirements, including the fire mitigation standards mentioned previously. But now we had water. However, all the requirements added another $1.6 million to the cost of the building, and this congregation needed to step up again to make the project happen. The bank was willing to provide a loan if some of our members were willing also to provide us with loans totaling $300,000. Several generous members stepped up to do so. We did it. This loving and caring congregation came together to embrace the future of this church. One of the challenges our success brought, however, was that we would need to set aside a quarter of our budget each year to service the loans, all of which has, for the past dozen years, prevented us from fully funding staff and programs such as youth RE, adult RE, music, social action, and others.
Giving of our treasure is how we reciprocate the many gifts we are given by this community. Your contribution supports the programs and operations of DuPage UU Church. Giving is also how we live our values in the world. Each month, we share our offerings with an organization nominated by the congregation and selected by the special offerings team. In February, the special collection will benefit the Tom Galloway Scholarship Fund at the College of DuPage. Tom Galloway and his wife Bobby were longtime members of DUUC, and Tom was president of the congregation in the 1990s. Tom established a scholarship program to support African American students at the College of DuPage, and the DUUC Special Collection pays about a third of the annual tuition for a scholarship recipient and can also be used to obtain access to computers, purchase textbooks, or help with living expenses. DUUC has been supporting this cause for more than 20 years. The morning's offering to support the work of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church and the Tom Galloway Scholarship is given and received in a spirit of generosity and gratitude.
Leaves appear each spring on a tree, springing forth in the verdant green that they are to begin the process of photosynthesis for their tree. They provide abundant nutrients through this miraculous process so that the tree can survive cloudy, gray winters. In the fall, the leaves provide us with a brilliant display of color, reminding us that even as things end, we can be a blaze of glory. And in their decay at the base of a tree, the leaves decomposing provide a new wealth of nutrients for the roots and insects that need the tree. This past fall, at our service just before Thanksgiving, we did a ritual of leaves. In this ritual, I asked you to write on one side of a wooden leaf a gift you have given this church, and on the other side, a gift that you have received from our church. The leaves of our community are the many ways that you have gifted love to sustain and nurture our community. They are also the many ways that you all have been gifted love by this community. Our sapling grew and offered us leaves and gifts in abundance, but it was not always easy. There were a lot of transitions in this time after the building of our sanctuary, even as the gifts you gave and received sustained this community. Many of you, maybe even most of you, have offered gifts during this season of growth from sapling into tree. Bob Harris, Carol Manthe, Mike Winter, Maggie Cavisso, would you please bring forth the gifts that you gave, your leaves that sustained our growing tree? Thank you.
Growing as a human or a tree is a bumpy process. Some years there is plenty of sunshine, water, and nutrients from the soil, and some years there is too much rain so that the roots get waterlogged, or not enough, making roots stretch deeper for groundwater. Some years the cold comes too soon or too late for the leaves, not giving the tree enough time to adapt and to change. Some years, heavy storms hit, causing damage to even the healthy branches. Resiliency is not about surviving through unforeseen conditions. It is about adapting to them. Resiliency reminds us of our roots, the core of who we are, our mission and our vision. But not only that, it reminds us of the people we are committed to in our journey toward our mission and our vision. Building our sanctuary was vital to our vision. Yet, it is also true that not all of the dreams and hopes that we had for our new building came to pass. Moreover, we entered a period of our history with some bumps, some drought and deluge. Some years we went along fine, and some years we were closer to survival. There were ministerial and staff transitions. We had to let go of some of our dreams and learn to welcome new ones. We were resilient in spite of the growing pains. So many of us gave gifts of leadership, of programming, of community building, of welcoming newcomers, even when it wasn't easy. When we found ourselves without the leadership we needed, we created it ourselves. When we needed each other, we created space to congregate. We adapted because we believed in ourselves. We adapted because we knew we deserved to fulfill our dreams. We adapted because we had a vision that we could become all we were meant to be. Our tree grew strong, not in spite of our struggles, but because of them. The trunk of our tree, our core, is evidence of our resilience, our adaptability. We grew our tree with our willingness and skill to adapt. Our leaves, the gifts of you all, sustained us and nourished us in the moment of their emerging or in the legacy of their decomposition, the gifts you gave sustained us. Our sapling grew tall and strong.
You can hold my hand when we let go. I can be a mountain when it feels that low. I can be a street light showing you the way home. You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seed. Plant a little happiness, let the roots run deep. If it's love that we give, then it's love that we reap. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seed. Yeah, I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. The door is always open, your picture's on my wall. Everyone's a little broken, and everyone belongs. Yeah, everyone belongs. I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. And bring us back together when the day is done.
Thank you, Becky. That's one of my favorites. In the legacy of so many people, in the gifts of love and nourishment of this community, in the vision of possibility for a just world, we have grown into a fine tree, an almost 70-year-old tree. We have strong roots that have established us in our community. Our branches shade those who need a brave and welcoming space to call home. Our leaves are abundant in giving and receiving. We have grown tall enough to envision something new. We can look to the horizon to see and choose from the many paths that might be our future. As a member of our board, Nell Haslett Bruce is part of helping us live into our mission and vision as a community. Nell, please bring forth the tree of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church that we have become.
We grew this tree with a strongly rooted history, with sustaining gifts from so many of you. We continue to grow. When the Ministerial Search Committee was formed in 2020, we faced the challenge of continuing to thrive in a difficult time for our congregation, for our nation, and for the world. Yet the leadership and love of this congregation allowed us to branch further. We reached out to you, our congregation, to ask what you wanted in a minister. Over 85% of you responded, and the search committee and the board listened. We wanted a minister who would help us grow as individuals, as a congregation, and as a force in the wider community. We wanted to be lovingly challenged, both on Sunday mornings and in our everyday lives. And we also wanted a minister who would comfort us in difficult times, who would love us just for who we were, who would celebrate our talents and successes. The search committee worked hard to listen to this feedback and select a minister who was an excellent fit for our congregation, and I think we succeeded. The search process allowed church leadership to hear the dreams and hopes that lay underneath all of the things we wanted in a minister. The process helped us know ourselves, and most important of all, helped us understand our vision for the future. We dreamed of growth in character, mind, and spirit, and by welcoming new members to our church, so we could continue our church's legacy of justice, compassion, and free thinking. We dreamed of a busy coffee hour full of youth and elders sharing space together, of justice work that reshaped the world, of a loving legacy that would benefit the generations to come. Because of the congregation's work and trust throughout the search process, our tree continues to flourish.
It was time to act on these most current dreams. In the fall of 2022, with a new minister and a new governance model blessed by the congregation at its most recent annual meeting, your Board of Trustees followed through on its promise to host the first of many congregational conversations to come. At this exciting juncture, we asked you to ponder the pressing needs of the congregation. We asked you to identify your hopes and dreams. You answered overwhelmingly with 3 areas of focus. First, you asked for ways to grow and strengthen our membership. This meant not only bringing in new members, but also creating paths to deepen engagement, commitment, and connection for all our members. Second, you asked for more and more robust programming for all ages. Third, you asked for thoughtful reflection on how to best care for our buildings and grounds. Your board gathered and assessed your responses, proposing that the first step in fulfilling these dreams would be to hire a director of membership and engagement. Together, you all agreed, by taking yet another leap of faith and stepping into the unknown, to pass a deficit budget so that we might begin to realize our dreams. Our plan as a board had a longer vision, though. We recognized that a deficit budget was unsustainable over a long period. Furthermore, we realized that in the decades since our building addition and previous campaign, we have been spending $97,000 each year on our debt. Freeing up that money to spend on your dreams, on our collective dreams, felt like the right step to take. So in spring of 2023, your board assigned a feasibility team to help it embark on a capital campaign feasibility study with Protopis Associates, the same consultants we used for our sanctuary campaign, to determine if a campaign could be successful, and if so, what we might be able to accomplish.
Now, a capital campaign to eliminate debt is not considered exciting in the fundraising world because there is no shiny building at the end. In fact, Steve Protopis shared his concerns that debt elimination would only work if it was tied to another project. To the board's delighted surprise, however, not only did Steve and his team believe that we could raise $1.15 million towards our debt elimination, but the feasibility study suggested that it would be possible to exceed that amount. That's so us. Last fall, the board voted unanimously upon the recommendation of the Capital Campaign Feasibility Study Team to embark on a campaign to eliminate our debt. So let's talk for a second about raising more money than simply enough to eliminate our debt. Because here's the thing. If we eliminate our debt over the next 3 years, or sooner, we will be able to devote $97,000 each year after that towards programming, staffing, and building needs. All of these things have historically been underfunded, majorly underfunded in our congregation, and we will have the opportunity to expand those areas. But what if we reached beyond this to even more? Here's where things get exciting. If we reach beyond debt elimination, we can dream up almost anything. One of our goals will be to establish a capital reserves fund to better plan for the maintenance needs of our buildings and our grounds, especially large items like roof or HVAC system replacement, and we could also consider our staffing needs, as well as innovative program and justice initiatives that can help us with growth, engagement, and membership. The board will continue listening to our dreams and directing the extra funds to areas where we are ready and excited to grow into our future. If we exceed debt elimination, the possibility to embrace our dreams grows exponentially.
For a tree to grow, it needs nature's gifts of water and fertile soil. And for a church to grow, it needs the gifts of time, talent, and treasure of its members and friends to fully thrive. It needs our love. You know, we're so very lucky that through the nearly 7 generations, or decades, I should say, of its life, so many have given so much to this beautiful, beautiful tree called the DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. And today, we're called upon once again to step up and to embrace our future anew through the generosity of giving to a capital campaign. So you might be wondering, what will this look like? Over the course of the next few months, a campaign team member will send you a letter and follow up with a call to arrange a meeting with you to discuss the campaign. Because we would like to speak with each of you, we will reach out in phases, some of you in a few weeks, some in a month, or maybe 2. During the meeting itself, our team of 2 captains will share with you how you can give to the campaign and may even give you a number to consider that was recommended by our consultant. Additionally, because of our volunteer capacity, we'll be asking for your annual promise commitment for the upcoming year during this meeting. And lastly, and importantly, our team members will be asking you about what you would like to see in the future of our community. This is your opportunity to help church leadership to plan and prioritize for the coming years. Now, Even as you might feel the excitement for our future, or today the excitement in this campaign, some of you may feel that you're not in a position to give to the campaign, or at least to give as much as you'd like. That is perfectly fine. Let me say that again. That's perfectly fine. Everyone has their own circumstance and their own capacity, and this campaign is not about shaming or guilt, but really togetherness and creating our future together. It's really about being so grateful for all we've been given, this space, this congregation, this faith tradition, and turning that gratitude into being as generous as our heart and capacity allows. So, every one of you is important to this church, and let's, all of us, embrace each other and embrace our future. Now, let's rise and sing as you're able. Hymn number 298, Wake Up My New Senses.
Our tree is vibrant. It has strong roots, tall branches, and thick foliage. It offers a home for many creatures, feeding them in the spring and summer, sheltering them in the autumn and winter. This tree has struggled, and it has thrived. We have lost branches, grafted new ones, spawned new acorns, nurtured saplings, and lived in the cycle of the leaves. We have created an ecosystem rooted in the legacy of elders and birthing the possibility of our future. Bob Smallwood, would you bring forth the leaf of Nancy Fleming's legacy? James Oliver Mack and Jenny Blair, would you bring forth your leaves as new members who have come to be a part of our flourishing ecosystem? Ben and Doug Mirabali, Ezra Cable, would you bring forth the saplings that have been nurtured in our love? Brianna Kuber-Mulqueeny, as the youngest member of our congregation, will you bring forth your acorn, birthed in the emerging possibility of our community? Can you put your acorn here, Brianna? Thank you. Early last fall, as the feasibility study was being completed, before the Board of Trustees agreed to move ahead with the capital campaign, DUUC member Nancy Fleming gave the very first pledge and gift to the Not Yet campaign. She stated in her letter that her gift, quote, shall be a restricted gift to be used towards paying the current DUUC loan and interest debt, as it is my belief that monies donated to any church should be used for church programming and facilities rather than repaying debt obligations. The sooner this debt is retired, the healthier our church will be. Nancy was always a visionary. Her life as a midwife, far before it was an established practice, and the ways she advocated for women's health literally all over the world were a living testament to her vision. Her gift to our campaign was also visionary. She saw a future for our congregation unhindered by debt. Her gift was given before the board even approved the campaign, and with the stipulation that it go towards debt relief even if the campaign was not approved. This gift was her last to our congregation. She drew her last breath just a few weeks ago. We will miss her vision, but her legacy is our future. In fact, all of our legacies are our future. Whether you share with us your financial gifts, your visions of a future for you all, your talents to bring forth a just world, your hands to make coffee, your skills to teach our children, your attendance on Sunday morning, whatever the gift, in whatever form, is a legacy for our future. Every gift, every person is part of transforming our community into our dreams and making the world a more just place. Each one of us, from the newest of us to the youngest of us, to the eldest of us, makes DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church the beloved community it is. This campaign is about eliminating debt. This helps us now by freeing up our finances to offer the programs, staffing, and facility improvements we need. But more than this, it helps us to nourish and strengthen our roots so that this community is here for when Brianna Kuber-Mulqueeny brings her children to learn about Unitarian Universalism. This campaign means that Brianna, Ben, Doug, and Ezra can tell their grandchildren about vibrant Lindy Spreetsma, who came here when she was just a child. They can tell their children about the leadership of Carolyn Atkin, who founded our Pastoral Ministries Associates. They can tell their children of Bev Becker's guidance in our Jewish Heritage Group, of Bob Wunderlich's guidance in our efforts to provide empathy through a comparative religion class, of Carl Nash's efforts to care for our prairie, and of Pat Lickman's many talents, including her ability to throw the best dang parties ever. Seriously, we have a legacy for our children to tell their grandchildren. This campaign is about offering engagement resources and leadership development skills so our new members become our next leaders, so that we can offer a trans support group with leadership from our new members, May Frazier and Molly Ricks, a women's group with facilitation by Mary Dykes, Sheila Cook, and Denise Sieber, a vibrant young adult group for our members in their 20s and 30s, which began last week Sunday with 12 people, led by Chris Gorel and our Director of Membership Engagement, Tina Lewis, and so many, many things. Our gifts are our legacy. Oh, and beloveds, we are flourishing, not surviving, not slogging along. The scarcity culture we sometimes fall into is a myth of epic proportions that is so very, very far from the truth. We are flourishing. You all dare to dream, and then you're willing to grasp each other's hands as you step into the unknown to make those dreams a reality. The silent phase of our campaign has shown the flourishing of our community. I'm trying not to cry. We believe that we can go beyond the $1.15 million our consultant suggested we could raise and reach towards eliminating our debt completely and consider all of the dreams that Kat spoke about earlier. Let me share with you our abundance. In the silent phase of our campaign, we have visited with 15 members and leaders to ask them to commit towards eliminating our debt so we might embrace our future. Towards our debt elimination efforts, we have raised in both pledge gifts and loan holder forgiveness, I need a drum roll, $922,500. That is incredible. Good job, and thank you to all of you who did this hard work. We are abundant. The generosity of this congregation in time, talent, and treasure is truly remarkable. Thank you to all who have given so far, and we're so excited to have the rest of you join us on this journey. To eliminate our debt entirely, we will need to raise $400,000 in more gifts, and if we exceed that, well, the possibilities are endless. DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church dreams big because it is abundant in the love and vision of a future that shows the flourishing for all of us. Your gift to the campaign in time, talent, or treasure will help us embrace the dreams of our future so that our legacy is here for our children's children and beyond. May our flourishing be our legacy. Please rise as you are willing and able to sing hymn number 126. An ecosystem contains within it both the legacy and the history, as well as the birth and possibility of a community. A thriving ecosystem has firm, established roots thanks to the elders who have nourished it, grown it, gifted it love and resources. A thriving ecosystem reaches to the sky in possibility and nurtures new life and growth. Look at our ecosystem. Not what is here on our altar, but what is present in this room. Turn around. It is filled with our legacy. It is a beautiful, abundant, vibrant legacy. We are flourishing. In our flourishing, we can reach into the abundance all around us to embrace the future. As you leave, I invite you to take an acorn, a sapling, or a leaf from one of our ushers. Take which one of these things feels right to you at this moment. We are Unitarian Universalists. We always change. But take what reminds you now of our growing tree. And now, I need the children's help with this part, because I need some people who can help me dance. Because we're gonna go party. Justin, cue the music, please. Maybe.